my story.
I worked in a roach-infested fabric store, so it's not glamorous.
Yeah, no. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been quite some time since I've recorded another video, and before we start, I'm just gonna introduce Melany again. She has been on my channel before, and she used to have a YouTube channel, and
R.I.P.
yeah, so it happens to the best of us. I know all y'all know what we're talking about, but like if you think she should start back up again, I'm gonna link her Instagram below and her website below so you guys can check out her work. So yeah, so life after FIT. So we graduated in May 2019.
Oh my god, we're going on a year soon.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's gonna be
crazy.
I know, a year since we've graduated. That's insane. And well, it hasn't been a full year yet, but
like
almost
8 months, 7 months.
Yeah. It feels like a full year. It feels like It feels like a long time, yeah. And Melany and I both went into completely different directions after we graduated, so we just wanted to relay the information and see if it would help any of you guys out. I know Melany took more of a freelancer route and I took more of the 9-to-5 route, and we're both still in the same place. We actually live together. So this is in my room. Yeah, update. This is in my room, and we could talk about like finding an apartment in New York, and especially after graduation and stuff later. But yeah, so I'm gonna let Melany talk about what she did after graduation, and then I'll touch up on that too.
So after graduation, I continued to work at FIT, as I had for like quite a few years. My job at FIT, which I worked in the gym, got me through, and so did you.
Yeah, we both worked in the gym.
Yeah, it got us both through quite a few years. So I kept working in the gym over the summer. I did that intentionally because I knew I wanted to like not rush to find a job. I knew from my internship experience that I didn't want to do a 9-to-5, just not really my vibe. I don't really like working corporate. I like something that like every day looks a little bit different, a little bit less of a desk job. So I did that. I did freelance work on Upwork, which we'll talk about more later. I worked in a fabric store in Chinatown. With, like,
she's about that hustle life, let me tell you. The girl like
there were cockroaches everywhere, real bad. But honestly,
that's some story time.
It was just later. The older lady, yeah.
Story time.
But I did that, and then I started working basically mostly freelance, and then I did pick up a more commitment, like a bigger commitment job. That's not the right word. It's not really a corporate job, but I took on like
it's a job that pays your bills.
A more full-time or like long-term role. That's a good word. I took on a long-term role in October. So I had like.
And is it in fashion or is it in like design?
It's in fashion, but it's in bridal actually. So I'm working with a small business owner. She owns a really successful bridal boutique in New York, which I love because I want to be a business owner one day. So I'm really seeing the back end of things. And yeah, I really like that just because I get to kind of shadow her throughout her running her business, and I find that to be very beneficial for me. But it's nice because it has kind of more corporate benefits. So, I mean, that Paul will talk about this, but that's definitely a plus side to the corporate life. Maybe that's a good transition. Is with freelance, you have to kind of take care of your own health insurance, taxes, things like that.
Yeah. And I think that's what definitely motivated me to go more towards the corporate life, because as much as I want to say and work into my best self and be as so strict and organized and have discipline, I think it does take a lot of discipline to be a freelancer. And because you're the one who's pushing yourself and reminding yourself of deadlines, and you don't have like a team to work on or someone to ask questions to. You're kind of like an expert in your own work.
You become your own boss, and really you don't necessarily know when like your next paycheck's gonna come. So you'll get like a lot of money from a job, and then the job is over. Yeah,
and Melany's really good at budgeting. So this is like, if you're great at budgeting, you don't really want someone to be like on your shoulders all the time, and you kind of work better alone. This is a better route for you. It can be done clearly. Like, Melany, how old are you? 22, and she's doing it. Like, she can do it. Like, you guys can do it. I know you can. Me, on the other hand, I just know that I need a little bit more structure, and I need a little bit more guidance, especially just because I don't want to say I'm a little bit, well, I don't want to say it's an insecurity, but I think I just feel more secure if I get someone else telling, especially being, I guess it's like that post, like that new grad feeling of I just want to know that I'm doing things correctly.
A little bit of imposter syndrome.
Yeah, definitely imposter syndrome.
Normal.
That creeps
normal.
in big time, imposter syndrome. So I definitely wanted a little bit more guidance there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I went into the corporate world instead, and my first thought was I just need to get a job ASAP. So I was looking into jobs all like in my field, out of my field. I personally love social media, and that's like my bread and butter, but I landed a job in marketing as a marketing manager, and that was definitely out of left field. It was not in fashion at all. It was actually in legal marketing.
TBT.
It was in legal marketing, y'all. And I was so lost, and I just like, this was my first job straight out of college from a fashion school. So I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Like, this is not my demographic. None of my internships have been this way, but I picked it because of the salary, the benefits that I could get. And also it was the quickest, like it was a job that I could use in 3 weeks. I landed that job in 3 weeks.
You gotta pay your bills.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in New York City.
Yeah.
Like, you need money at the end of the day.
Yeah, and honestly, my goal too was to stay in New York. So I just wanted to find anything possible for me to be able to stay here. That job ended up being a temporary gig for me, and I moved on from there and then jumped into another freelance position. Well,
freelance.
It was
full-time freelance.
Yeah, it was a full-time freelance position. It was freelance, but it had all of like the full-time
That's
benefits.
what corporate jobs will tell you when they want you to do the amount of work that a full-time employee will do, but they don't want to give you benefits.
Yeah.
Which is also very common. They'll hire you freelance before they'll hire you full-time.
To see if they like you and stuff like
if you
that.
drive well.
Yeah, but it benefits them too.
It does benefit them too, and yeah, you kind of do get cheated out of your full-time benefits.
Yeah,
so
but
they'll do that to you.
I was hustling. I was trying to find a job. So I was working full 9 to 5 in an office for on a freelance 3-month trial basis, and so that's just been our journey after FIT, and everyone's journey is different. And it's just a glimpse of how you could go 2 different routes, really. Like, you can stick to the 9 to 5 route and get something more secure. And you see how everyone thinks it's more secure, but notice how it's not.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a really big misconception, is that having a 9 to 5 will be more secure, when, like, in all honesty, when you're having a 9 to 5 that you hate going to every day, or like you feel anxious at, it doesn't feel secure, because it feels like you can be let go at any moment, which is definitely like what I've been through. So all that being said, yeah, we've got some 6 tips for you guys for after graduating, because it can be a really lonely time, like Melany reiterated.
Yeah, you basically you go from.
We're looking down at notes here.
You go from 20 something. If you went all through college, you go through 23, 22, 21 years of structured schooling, and then you're kind of just like, okay, everyone's like, okay, here you go. Get to it.
Yeah, so we just want to
be stressful.
Just 6 things, I guess, that we wish we knew.
Yeah.
Kind of like our last
video
that you can watch here about things that we wish we knew before we got into FIT.
We're gonna link that here. Paul's gonna link it here.
Or here. Whichever one it is.
Here.
But so now I guess here are 6 things that we wish we knew after we graduated. So the first one is, Melany, do you want to bring it
Sure. No, you should do this one.
Okay,
Because you were talking about it too.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you could transition.
true.
Yeah.
So the first one is that your first job will not be your dream job. Clearly, as you heard from at least my testimony or my story.
I worked in a roach-infested fabric store, so it's not glamorous.
No, your first job definitely won't be your dream job. Like, clearly, it's just to pay bills, get where you want to go, just to set yourself up to where you want to be.
Put your foot in the door.
Yeah, or even if you are in your dream position, sometimes it just won't feel as satisfying as you thought it was gonna be.
That makes that's so true. Yeah.
Like, I remember I was in a marketing manager position, this is exactly what I should be doing. Or even when I was doing the social media and graphics, I loved it and I loved the work that I was doing, but the environment wasn't necessarily the best for me, which made me hate going to work, you know? So that's like,
there's so many layers.
There's so many layers to that. So your first job won't be your dream job, but don't be discouraged because it will come eventually. Just remember that you're young, and we tell each other this all the time. Like, we're so young and we forget that. So just don't get discouraged from that.
And you can learn something from every single job. Seriously, you really can.
Yeah.
So the next tip is to not compare yourself to your colleagues. It's really easy to look around, because I guess there will be someone who like they were interning, they get their dream job, and there are people. But
it's hard, you know, to see people who you want to be in that position, and it's hard to not compare yourself to them, you know. But there's room for everyone.
Everyone's journey is different, honestly. So even if you have to kind of tune out. Mute some social media accounts for your own self, like your own.
Just to not compare yourself.
Be careful where you're getting like, I don't know what my
everyone presents what they want to show. Then no one sees the struggle. No one sees the 30 applications that they put in, the 50 revised cover letters that you've made,
the 60 interviews that you've been on.
Exactly. The 5,000 resume templates that you've looked at.
So just don't compare yourself.
Just be a little nicer to yourself. I would say if you can't also compare yourself, just be nicer to yourself and know that you're running a different race from other people.
True.
So the third tip that we're gonna give you guys is to use your network.
That's big.
So this is probably one of the biggest and maybe like my favorite tip, because using your network is literally what got both of us jobs. And I think 95% of my friends have either used a friend of a friend, or it was a previous internship that has helped them get into the position that they're in now. So I think it's a really, really, really big help.
And like that's why it's there. Don't feel weird or like awkward reaching out to old bosses.
Don't feel awkward.
The worst case is that via email, the worst case is that they don't respond. It's like, okay, next.
And they're expecting these kinds of things from
especially
you.
During graduation season. You can say,
especially if you're an intern.
Introduce myself. Like, just don't be afraid. Don't feel awkward. That's why you're networking. And then when you're in the position of all these bosses, you're gonna get all these emails.
And they're expecting you
from grads.
They're expecting you to email them.
So don't be afraid.
And
you can literally get jobs that way.
Don't feel like you're being annoying, or that like they're like it's a burden or something. Like no, like use these networks. This is what you have them
Log
for.
on to LinkedIn.
This is what you built for. Like you did all this for a reason. And then I guess number 4 would be to know your worth, as in like knowing what your value is. Essentially, like both Melanie and I worked really hard in college to have a certain amount of internships, at certain places, just to build things on our resume. And so I guess I would say like we were looking for jobs to pay the bills, but we also want to look for jobs that value what we can bring to the table too.
Really do your research, look at like the city you're in, the kind of titles you want, and like numbers, like, okay, am I worth 40,000 in this city? Am I gonna do 45? Do I want 35? Because in New York it tends to be a little higher because the cost of living is more expensive. But definitely don't, like, I would say if you're gonna work a minimum wage job after college, it's fine if you want to do that, but you should be getting some other kind of value from the position outside of the money. So whether like you got to take it for a purpose, and if you're not getting anything else,
whether it's a connection, a reference, building your portfolio,
travel, whatever, something, it has to be something.
Or even if it actually does fulfill you and truly make you happy, that's even worth it. But just making sure that you know what you're worth and what your value's at and what you're getting yourself into,
and what you want from a job, even at that,
because I mean we both worked at the gym for
a minute,
for like 4 years combined together, and you know, graduating straight from college, I don't want to necessarily go back to working at the gym.
It's to get you through. So you should kind of take a step up once you have your degree from whatever you were making or whatever you were receiving. Or kind of, it should be a give and take relationship with jobs.
Make sure that there's a purpose on it for your portfolio and your resume, so that you can speak on it when you are going on job interviews and letting people know why you took this and why you didn't choose to take something else. Tip number 5 is going to be, don't be afraid to freelance. Like, clearly we've been talking about this whole entire video. Melanie's a freelance expert here.
You freelanced even though.
True, here and there. Like, kind of like how my 9-to-5 corporate job turned into a freelance position. Don't be afraid to go after things like that, even if they do sound less secure. as we've said in this video, what may necessarily seem secure as a corporate job may not actually be as secure as you think it is.
Right.
With freelance, it's almost essentially like you're covering yourself, like you're protecting yourself, and you have yourself in your best interest. So I think not being afraid to go after that bullet, and just like even doing, if you do have that 9 to 5, don't be afraid to freelance in that 5 to 9 after that. Like
That's
Melany, oh my gosh, she does that so much.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's how you get your website up. That's how you start getting work shown to people, and you start getting your name around. Is really
Extra money.
Yeah.
If you're like sitting there.
That side hustle, don't be
Temporary
afraid.
gigs,
Yeah. Especially, I mean, every penny counts. Like I don't work in bridal, but every bridal season I'll work with Melany.
Yeah, we have our package deal freelance gigs.
Yeah.
So we'll always, even in the beginning when you started at like the freelance job that you did.
Yeah. I brought her in there to just to say, hey, maybe
like
she can help from here and there. You know, like don't be afraid to do that. And also, if you're afraid of covering like medical expenses and like private care, I think did you mention already?
No, I didn't, but there are options out there like for freelancers and stuff. So really just hop on Google, make sure
dental care and stuff like that.
You're paying attention to your sources, but there are options to be independent.
Yeah. Our last tip that we have for you guys is to make sure that you branch out and stay open throughout this journey after you've graduated, because I mean, I guess like in that sense, to be more specific, I mean like, don't just stick to what you know. Don't be afraid to branch out and explore in the job field or in your skill set or anything like that. Just because school ended doesn't mean that the learning has to end. Like,
you're gonna learn on the job.
Yeah, sure. No, you will. Like, I had to learn how to make a GIF like out of nowhere at one job, and I didn't even know how to make that in school. So the learning doesn't stop.
Google.com.
Yeah, no, you can Google everything
and anything.
Yeah, don't be afraid to say, hey, I don't know how to do this, but I can learn how to do this.
Resourcefulness.
Yes, because expanding that and showing people that you're willing to learn is what's really gonna make you a valuable asset, and really gonna get you hired, truly. So that's all of our tips that we have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we'll be back with more videos sooner rather than later.
Thanks for experiencing the sunset with us.
Yes, the sunset with us, and the sun go down. Yeah.
You should show them. It's actually really
good. No, I
will.
Okay, bye. So here's what we've been looking at the entire time.
It's actually so pretty. What the heck?
I know, it doesn't look that great outside of our fire escape. Or my fire escape, but it's so beautiful.
It's the little things, you know?
Yeah. If you need creatives, we're here. So